From anti-vaxxers and political pandering to the budget and everything in between, stop at the Tuesday water cooler. Let's welcome in New York Times best-selling author for The Entrepreneur, Equation, and syndicated radio host, Carol Roth joins us. Hi, Carol.
Hi, Ed. Great to be back with you.
You also good to see you. Let's just go ahead and begin right off the front. You had sent along an email and a link, which we're not going to show, but we are going to talk about it at least. Apparently, during an interview with a friend of yours on CNBC, Rand Paul was seen shushing her, going, "Shh, let me talk." That's pretty rude, even for a potential candidate to do, isn't it?
I'm actually completely furious with this particular situation. You know, I've kind of had a mixed bag of feelings towards Rand Paul as a potential candidate, but to see not only his petulant but his very dismissive behavior, not just in an interview, but in an interview with a woman host.
Yeah, he wouldn't do that to a male host. He would not do that to me.
I don't believe he would do it to you. I do not believe he would do it to any other male host. I thought it was a huge sign of disrespect. And Ed, when I come on your program, it's your house. I follow your lead. You're the interviewer. And so for him to try to take over the interview and then be incredibly dismissive, I just think it said a lot about who he is as a person, and he has lost me for good.
There you go. Everything that you say as a candidate and everything that you do gets eventually put into that bag, and it all gets talked about come November next year. All right, here's the second thing now. Very serious story here. Apparently, the ISIS terrorists have killed the Jordanian pilot. They burned him alive in what looked like a very professionally prepared video. Now we're getting word that Jordan has said they will execute within hours the jailed woman militant it had sought to swap for the pilot killed by the Islamic State. It is now the tit for tat has begun, and we've had some people already here on the show say this is exactly what ISIS wants.
Oh, it is exactly what ISIS wants. And, you know, frankly, I don't even want to call them people. They're not even animals. It would be an insult to animals. They're cockroaches or savages. This is potentially one of the biggest threats that the United States faces. And I think that we have an opportunity to very quietly, in a Godfather, horse head in the bed type of manner, to go in and to put a stop. We have the most powerful military in the world. I don't believe for 1 minute that we don't have the ability to go, and whether it's having some sort of a bomb, having some sort of poisoning, some way to eradicate these the cockroaches that they are, to do it right now. And I think that if we don't take a stand, this is something that is just going to, much like the cockroaches, continue to multiply. And we can't continue to let them antagonize to get support and to build their base, because it's something that, you know, once it becomes so big, it's going to be very, very difficult to stop.
Where's Don Vito Corleone when you need him, right? All right.
Exactly.
A little bit over a minute here. Let's get to the anti-vaxxers here, because this is something else. Christie speaking out, Rand Paul speaking out. There are all sorts of different opinions here. But from your perspective right now, we had a guest on earlier who said, no, parents shouldn't have to do this. They blamed the CDC. They blamed everybody else, said it was a bad idea. What's your take on the whole having your kids vaccinated?
You know, I think that your rights are your rights until they start to infringe on other people's rights. And while I'm certainly no fan of the government telling you what to do, I think there's a general collective common sense when it comes to vaccinations for major diseases. I'm not saying for every single disease that's out there, but the polios, the measles, the mumps of the world, there's a reason why when kids were vaccinated that those were almost eradicated. And there's another reason when people stop giving their kids those vaccinations, why they have come back again. I think it's a measure of common sense. And I certainly think, again, that I'm all for the individual rights. But at some point, if your rights start to infringe on somebody else's, then we need to relook at the world.
Exceptionally well put. Did it all in just a couple of minutes. Oh, and by the way, we will send along your message to Mr. Paul next time we speak to him.
Yes, and hopefully both of our hockey teams will pick it up a little bit here.
It's all right. I'm not worried about it. Bruins are going to be just fine. We're right back in the conference. We're right back into Conference 8, so we're good so far. We'll talk later in the season. Carol, always a pleasure to have you on the show. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Ed.
Take care. He is without question a sap, and his actions only help to prove how the National Football League hopes America never really cares about those pesky social issues. Telling it like it is next, right here on MidPoint.